Welcome, everyone. My name is Manny Tejeda. I'm one of the program directors here at CFPS Learning Pathways. We're excited for today's session, and we're going to be digging a little deeper into what business intelligence is all about, and we're going to get to hear that from our partners at TransPerfect. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, let me tell you a little bit about this series. We've been running these career exploration hours for a couple of years now, and really what we aim to bring you is just a different voice on careers that you perhaps never thought about. We were chatting a little bit before we started the session about what really is business intelligence. And I have a bad habit of always asking questions and interrupting. For this one, I think I'm going to stay back and really listen so I can learn a lot about what business intelligence is all about. So we have two wonderful representatives from TransPerfect who are going to introduce themselves. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and then we can kick things off.
Well, thanks, Manny. Hi, everyone. My name is Gili Eichmann. I'm a Vice President of Business Operations for TransPerfect. With me on the call is Yael. Yael, you want to do a short introduction?
Hi, I'm Yael Kapp. I'm a team lead in Gili's BI team. I'm working in TransPerfect Tel Aviv office. Been with the company 6 years. I have a BSc in biotechnology, but decided to change path and found the data world, which I really love.
Cool, thanks, Yael. So I'll give a quick intro about myself and how I got to business intelligence, and then we're going to talk about what is business intelligence. Let me just share my screen because I have a short presentation. Okay. Manny, you can see the screen, right? Great. Okay, so I was born in Israel and I lived there until 2022. My native language is Hebrew, so I'm sorry if my English is not perfect. And I moved recently in 2022 to the US. I live today in Cresskill, New Jersey, and I work in TransPerfect's New York headquarters. Just a little bit about my career so you can understand how you can get to business intelligence. So I started my career as a waiter while I was doing my university studies. Later on, I worked as a customer service representative for UPS Israel. And later on in UPS, I was promoted and I managed the sort center, which is basically a huge operational center that sorts all the packages that go out for delivery. So that was the beginning of my professional career. And during my time in customer service, I really got intrigued with numbers and how you can use numbers to manage your day-to-day. In the call center or the customer service world, it's basically knowing how many calls are going into the call center, how many calls are waiting, what's the average wait time. And I was really intrigued with numbers, and that was during my university studies. Just so you all know, I really, really hated math in high school. And business intelligence is all about numbers, so it's kind of surprising, but I can tell you that now I love math. And that's basically what I do in my day-to-day job. So if any of you, don't love math or don't understand how you can use math in your life, BI, business intelligence, is definitely one way of that. And I came from purely hating math in high school, and now I really, really love it, and I do it every day. And just a kind of a fun fact, I'm an amateur drummer and love music in general. So a little bit about business intelligence and what is it? So just kind of a definition, just so we all understand what we're talking about. So business intelligence takes business data and present it in a user-friendly view, such as reports, dashboards, charts, and graphs. In BI tools, which are all kinds of different softwares, they enable the business user, which is anyone in our company, for example, to access different types of data, historical, current, third-party, or our own data from our company. And then users can use those visualizations. We'll talk about what those are in a second. They can analyze the information and gain insights about the business. So when we're talking about users, we're talking about any employee in our company, in TransPerfect, or some of our clients. we have a lot of different data points from our different systems, and we're going to talk about what is data and how we use it to create these views. So let's look at a very, very simple example of what is data. And data, you can imagine, is like a pile of Lego bricks. So you have a pile of Lego bricks, different shapes, different size, different types of Lego bricks. And that's basically the data that we have in our organization. We have a lot of different technologies that we pull data from, but it basically looks like this. It's just one table with a lot of different numbers. So you can imagine it's like the pile of Lego bricks. And what we do in business intelligence and what BI analysts do in their role, they basically take that data, the pile of Lego bricks, and they start sorting it out. So you can sort it by color, shape, size, any type of sorting will work. But in the case of a Lego bricks, or in the case of our data, we want to make the data more simple. We want to make the data something that any user, any person that logs in and looks at it can understand. So we sort the data out. And then what we do is we want to get some kind of information out of the data. And this is one type of information you can get out of Lego bricks. You can just pile them one on top of each other, and you get different colors, different heights of bars. And basically, this is Lego, but this is a bar chart. This is a very, very basic visual in BI, in business intelligence. And this gives me already information about my Lego bricks. What's the color that has the highest amount of Lego bricks? So this is information. And then part of our goal as business intelligence is not only to give our users, the employees in the company or our clients, information, it's also about giving them knowledge. So knowledge would be taking those Lego bricks and building something out of them. So if I know that I have a huge amount of blue Lego bricks, I'll probably build something that will be more bluish. And this analogy is just a simple example of what we do in our roles. We take data, which is just a pile of Lego bricks, and we transform it into something that is much more easy to understand for the users that we work for. As I said about information, we create visualizations. So let's look at a few day-to-day examples of visualizations. Weather forecast is a visualization. This is one example. So we have the day, we have some kind of image that tells us what's the weather. If it's sunny or rainy, we have the number that can tell us what is the temperature. We have what's the percentage of probability of rain. And we have different numbers, but they're presented in a way that we as the audience, when we look at this as in the news report, we can easily understand what is going to be the weather tomorrow and how does that compare to the weather today. So that's a very simple and basic visualization. Another type of visualization that I'm pretty sure that you all saw in some point is a pie chart. And this is one example of a pie chart of the time you spend on Netflix. And this is totally true for me. But this is a pie chart. It basically tells you the proportion of some kind of data point out of the total amount of data. So we understand that the majority of the time spent is looking for a movie, and a small part of the time is spent of actually watching a movie. So this is another example of visualization. Now, how do we get from that data into a visualization, or what do we do with the visualization? So let's look at data. Okay, this is a raw data example. If you look at it like this, it looks pretty intimidating and not very appealing. But if we take this data and we compile it into a dashboard, and let me show you how that will look like. So this is an example of the dashboard from the data that we just saw. And this is showing the salaries of the NBA players from 99 to 2018. And when we take all that lump of data that we just saw and was unclear, and we put it in a dashboard, we can actually analyze the data and look into it. So for example, what this is showing us, as you can see, have the legend here. The long bars are showing if that team was the NBA champion, the conference champion, or they ended the season in playoffs. So gray is playoffs, red is NBA champion, and blue is conference champion. So you can see which year they finished. So if we're looking at Chicago Bulls, we're looking at 90 to 91. They won the NBA championship, and we can actually hover over it and see the actual salaries per player. And then we can see the salary on a $1 million scale. How did it go up from the 90s to 2018? And this is the total salary for the entire team. So instead of looking at the data as just data points and a lot of different numbers, we can actually analyze it and break it down by player, by team. And this is much more easy to understand than just the pile of Lego bricks. So this is one example of a dashboard, and this is created in the tool that we use every day that is called Tableau. It's a BI tool. And basically what it does, it enables us to push data into the tool and visualize it in a way that will be very easy to users to use it and to analyze data with it. Let me just go back to our presentation. Okay, so this is, again, how the data look like before we compile it into a dashboard. You can see the teams are here. Were they NBA champions? What year? What are the salaries? And so on. So this is the data behind that dashboard. So a little bit about how we use data. We take data from different systems that every company has. HR, human resource system about our employees, client systems that are called CRMs, operational systems, accounting system where we bill our clients or get paid by our clients. And we take the data from all those systems into a database where all the data is stored. From there, our BI analysts, the people on our group, use coding languages such as Python, SQL, R, and others. And they process the data through systems that are called ETL, extract, transform, load. We use two different systems, Alteryx and 9, but there's a lot of different systems out there in the market. And then from those systems where we compile the data, we push them into a BI tool, such as what we just saw a few moments ago, called Tableau. And then we can create very, very simple visualization, charts, graphs, pie charts, same as I showed you before. So that's kind of what the BI analyst does in their day-to-day job. And just a few examples of how we solve business problems, because that's basically our goal, to take business problems and to solve them through visualizations. This is one example that I wanted to show you. We have clients that TransPerfect, as you may know, is a translation company. And we have clients that ask us to translate their websites. So they have websites that each of you might be using, and they need to translate it to multiple languages for clients around the world. And once they translate that website, they want to understand how that website is doing in terms of search engines. So when you go on and Google and you search for a keyword, the results that you get in Google are based on all kinds of calculations in algorithm and math that gives you that result as number one, number two, number three. We help our clients when we translate their websites to be ranked higher in Google search or any other search engine. So one of the roles that we have in the BI team, in the business intelligence team, is to analyze that data. And we take data from Google, and we take data from Baidu, which is a search engine in China. And we take data from Yandex, which is a search engine in Russia, and Naver, search engine in Korea, and more. And we compile all the data about the client's website, and we can show them how their website is performing. So how many clicks did they have? How many new users went through the site? How many of the users actually did a transaction? How many page views were there? How much time did a user stay on their website? Because if a user clicks in Google on the website and then after 5 seconds they leave, then it's not really efficient for that client. So we compile all the data from different sources like Google, and we present that in a way that the client is very easy to understand, where they can kind of slice and dice and analyze how their website is performing. This is one example of a dashboard, and this is an example of an automatic PDF that we send to the client that analyzes the website performance. So these are a few examples of visualization in addition to what we saw in the NBA example. Another thing that the BI analysts do is we use the tools that we have in order to automate day-to-day things that people in the company do. So for example, we have an app that we created for our project managers. So the project managers that manage the translation projects for TransPerfect, they do a lot of manual actions over and over every day because they have 50, 100 projects that they're managing in the same day, and they have to do the same process over and over for each project. So we automated some of that process, and we created a web app where the project manager can just go up here, upload files, choose what type of process they're working on, and then they get back an automated file where they can upload it to one of our technologies to get the job done. So part of our work is not only to visualize the data and show it in a way that is very easy for the user to work with, but also to reduce the amount of manual work and automate manual processes in the day-to-day work. So that's basically everything about our job. We have a very, very fun job. I've been doing this for over 8 years now, and I come to work every day very happy with what I do because it's very, very fun. So I'm open to any questions that anyone have.
That was a great representation. Not just, how you do it, but, of what you do, but how you do it. I'm a visual learner, so this was very helpful for me. I'm curious, and I want to let other folks kind of chime in with questions as well, but like, I'll just want to get into business intelligence. And I know you talked a little bit about your own path, but this is something that we're always talking to students about, like careers that perhaps they've never thought about. So how does one become prepared, or at least what skill could they develop now to go and be successful in a field like BI?
Yeah, so as I said, if you would ask me when I, finished high school, or even when I was during my university degree, if I would ever work in something that requires math or computers, I would probably say that no way. But I got to business intelligence, from working in customer service, because I saw that how much business intelligence is influencing my day to day, and I found it interesting, and I just went and studied it, as a side course, not even professional, university studies, and then I just started, working in that type of work. A lot of the people that are on our team did not study anything that is related to computers or math or which is kind of what is expected in working in business intelligence. Some of them came from TransPerfect, and they were project managers, salespeople, so no background in business intelligence, and we just taught them. And some of them came in with that knowledge, they found it interesting, and they went to university and learned it. So starting in business intelligence, you usually need some kind of background. We are kind of a unique case where we give the opportunity for people from within TransPerfect to kind of join the team. But as long as you're interested in working in something that includes, analyzing numbers and understanding better how to use numbers to basically do anything, that's pretty much the beginning of going into the business intelligence world. And business intelligence world is really, really big. So you can be on the more technical side, and you can be on the more analytic side. So there's a lot to do in that world. It really depends on what you're interested in.
I think one of the things related to, TransPerfect is such a unique organization, right? A company that they value culture, they value people. So yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that the talent that you have gets kind of priority in terms of being part of this organization. And you could use it in anywhere in the organization, the sales funnel to the technical writing of things, and using that data to inform better decisions and working with the client. So that's awesome. So in terms of one of the things we talk to students a lot about too, related to skills, is companies nowadays, I think they're more interested in the whole individual. It's not necessarily just the training that you have that bring in. It's really about the whole individual, how you bring in kind of your full self to the workplace. So can you tell me a little bit about like your work dynamics within your teams and how that is? One of the things that we do as an organization is try to give students the opportunity to experience teamwork and develop those skills in teamwork. Why that's important, obviously, because of the research and because folks like you tell us how important that is in the workplace. Can you elaborate a little bit more in terms of other skills or how your team interacts with them?
Sure. So I can say that, when we are interviewing for people to join the team, I can definitely say that, if someone will come in with less experience, but we feel that that person is a good fit to the team, and that person will be a quick learner and see their future in, BI. We hired people who were very, very junior that didn't have much experience, because we knew that, with the right training, they have the right set of mind. And teamwork is one of the most important attributes in our team, because we are a team of 11 people that pretty much give service to the entire company and our clients. And in any given point, if something comes in, some request comes in, any person on the team should be able to handle it. So we have kind of a ticketing system where each person can, claim a ticket, but sometimes, I have too much on my plate. I'll need someone else to cover for me or jump in on one of my projects. And teamwork is one of the most important things in our team, because we're kind of a small team. 11 people is not a big team, but everyone on the team needs to be able to cover for the other person. And we invest a lot in the teamwork. We have a weekly team call. Everyone goes on video. We have people in the US, Israel, the UK, Barcelona, Spain, France. So we're kind of spread out, and we go on a call once a week, everyone on video, and we talk about the issues and updates. And then once in 2 weeks, we have something we call the huddle, which one person on the team comes in with a fun game that we can play like for 20, 30 minutes, just to kind of clear our mind, because our work is, you need to think a lot with your head all day long, and sometimes you just need to clear your mind. So once in 2 weeks, we do a fun activity for the entire team, and that really helps, the teamwork get better. And that's something that we're investing in, because teamwork is very important. And one more thing that I would say is that, in our world, in business intelligence, the fact that you love what you do will make you do it better. Because if you want to investigate in your and kind of invest in your knowledge, and anything technology wise always gets better, always improve. There's a new software out there, there's a new knowledge you need to know, there's a new skill. And if you're the type of person that always wants to learn more, and you'll go online and say, okay, I'm going to spend now 1 hour just to learn this new thing that just came out, then first of all, your job will be much, it will be fun, because you're learning more, and you're developing every day. But also you'll get better in your job, because if you wait for people to tell you, please learn this new skill, then you're already late. But people that are they understand that every day, if they learn something new, they'll progress in their own career and their own knowledge. And I can tell you that I've been with TransPerfect for 11 years, and in business intelligence for almost 9 years. And every day I learned something new. Like I can't remember a single day that I didn't learn something new and develop my knowledge even more. So, if it applies to me, it applies to anyone on my team. And I think that's the key. Just wanting to learn and to improve and to develop every day.
That's awesome. And that obviously translates really well with your clients and how you're working. It's always cutting edge because you're staying on top of things. One of the things you mentioned about having the team kind of all over the place in terms of the world, right? You mentioned Barcelona, obviously you're in New York, in the Middle East and stuff. Like, think about for our students who are tuning in, you went through some phase of that, right? I mean, through COVID, where school was virtual. Those are skills that, while some of you might have not had a great time or experience, those are skills and experience that you can bring into the workplace. That was natural to you, whether you were in middle school, going into high school, from high school to college. Those are skills that, you know how to work with people virtually in different time zones. When we're doing these sessions, we're often in even different time zones. So, these are things that just become second nature to us. But you are experiencing it. So that's great. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So we'd like to close things off with one piece of advice you would give kind of a student right now. Obviously, we started with the whole notion of, with business intelligence and all that stuff. But and I asked you about what skill you feel like it's really needed. But what piece of advice would you give a student, let's say a sophomore in high school or a junior, who is perhaps has skills that could be transferable in the business intelligence area that could pursue that passion that they have or those skills to be successful in a career at a place like TransPerfect?
So I would say that one of the big advantages of today's world and the way that tech world is today is that there's no limit to the knowledge that you can get from your home computer. You don't have to go to the university to study BI. There's a lot of online courses that are even free. There's a lot of online softwares that are free. You can download them and just start playing around with it. You can the example that I showed, the NBA salary, that's a dashboard that someone just took data from that is published, that anyone can get to that data and just played around with it and created that dashboard. So just choose a data source that is fun for you. For example, the top 100 series on Netflix, and you want to analyze that, and just start playing with it and seeing if it's interested for you. If it is, there's a lot of great online courses. There's a lot of great content that you can look into and see if it's very interesting for you. And then, if you do feel that that's something that you want to explore in the future, there's a lot of different paths that you can take to get to that type of career. But, it doesn't have to be, let's go to the university and study that for 3 years. You can do that from your whole computer and kind of figure out if this is something that is even interested for you. So that would be my advice. And have fun with it, because I started in the BI world because I thought it would be really fun that would be my day job. And 9 years later, I wasn't wrong. It's really fun. I have fun every day at work. So
that is great. That's what they say. Find something that really brings you that much joy, right? So you don't feel like you're actually working. Yeah. Until you realize you're overworking yourself. But hopefully you're not there. Obviously you have a family, so you have other responsibilities that keep you kind of in line. This has been wonderful, and I really appreciate you taking the time, chatting with us, enlightening us about business intelligence. And I really do feel like our students will get a lot from this session. It just gives them something else to look forward to in terms of jobs of the future and jobs they can be preparing for now. I like that advice a lot, because in my head what's coming to mind is like, ooh, I could use some data. I want to look at what cars are going to retain their value the most in the next 5 years. That's something that could be a cool project. I probably don't have the skills, but that's besides the point. All righty, well, thank you again. And any last minute things? If students have questions, how can they be in touch with you all?
Yeah, well, you have my contact details, so in case anyone wants to be in contact or have questions, I'm happy to answer and help. So yeah, feel free.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and until next time.
Thank you.